Last class we discussed about what is inheritance and what are the different types of inheritances, and yesterday we have seen a simple inheritance where we have one base class and one derived class, and we have seen how to inherit modes, in the sense whether we can inherit in public way or whether we can inherit in private way. So these are the two ways already which we have discussed. So today we are going to see some other points what you have in this inheritance and different types which are left. So here we'll see how to make a private member inheritable. So how you want to inherit private members? In the last class I said it is not possible to inherit private members. Now is there any way to inherit the private members? So we are going to find it out that way. The private member is not inheritable if we modify the visibility mode by making it public, but this takes away the advantage of data hiding. So for example, if you want to hide something, the private members, it is not possible. For example, I have three classes, class A, class B and class C. So whatever the contents I have in class A, okay, I want to share those contents with B but not with C. I want to share the contents with B but not with C. If I keep the contents of A as public, B can access, but at the same time class C can also access the contents of class A what are in public. So to avoid that, if I make it as private, then what will happen? Even you want to share those things to B, even B can't access the contents what you have declared. Why? Because those contents are private in your base class. So then how to restrict the access of the data to one class? Then that is possible with another visibility mode, that is called protected. Okay, so if you keep any variables under protected stuff, only that class and the relatives of the class can access the contents, but remaining others, they can't access the data whatever you have in that protected section. So if you want to access any protected content, that class must need to maintain a relationship with the base class, then only those contents can be accessible by that class. If it is an independent class, then it is not possible to access the contents what you have in under protected. Okay, so public, when the member is declared as public, it is accessible to all the functions. If it is private, it is accessible within the class only. If it is protected, when the member is declared as protected, it is accessible within its own class as well as the class immediately derived from it, or the members or the relations about that class. Okay, only those can access it. So here protected, private variables, if you are inheriting in a private way, it is not possible to inherit. Protected, public protected, public can access, private can access, protected also protected. If you inherit public way, everything will be public. Okay, public when public होते, private when private होते, protected होते. Okay, so this is the visibility of inheriting members and the visibility modes: private, protected and public. So we have one more inheritance type, that is multi-level. In the last class we have seen only one base class and one derived class. So in this scenario we will see multi-level inheritance, A, B and C. So here A is the base class and B is the derived class. So this derived class will act like a base class for another class. Okay, so here B can access the contents of A and C can access the contents of B, and it can access the contents of A through B. So here in this scenario, always we will create an object for class C. Why? Because in C already you have the contents of B, in B already you have the contents of A. So indirectly in C you will have the contents of A and B. So if you can create an object for C, with the help of C object you can access the contents of C, you can access the contents of B, you can access the contents of A. So that is possible here. So we will go with a simple example. Here you have class animal, public void eat, it is eating, it is a base class. Okay, animal is a base class. Here you have dog, public animal, you are inheriting in a public way. So dog is a derived class for animal class. So first class is animal, so from that you have derived dog. Okay, Now here we have one more class, that is baby dog. It is publicly inherited by dog. So first class is animal, then dog, then baby dog. So here we will create object for baby dog, and with the help of that baby dog object you can access the contents of dog class as well as the contents of animal class. So both is possible with baby dog object. See here, that is what happened here. For this baby dog I have created D1 object, and with the help of D1 I can access eat function, it is of first class, bark function, it is a second class function, weep function, this is its own class. So there are three things. So here you can get the output eating, barking and weeping. So these three things are possible. So this is considered under multi-level. We have three different levels. There is no rule like you have two, you must have only three. It is more than two levels. If you have only two levels, that comes under simple inheritance or single inheritance. If you have more than one level, then that is considered as multi-level inheritance. In this multi-level inheritance, we need to create an object for the least derived class, last derived class. Okay, so that is about multi-level. Next you have multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is a process of deriving a new class that inherits the attributes from two or more base classes. So when you have multiple base classes, and from these classes you are accessing only one derived class. Okay, so here in this scenario you can create only object for this. So with this object you can access the contents of B1, you can access the contents of B2, and you can access the contents of B3. All these are individual base classes, and from these base classes your derived class can access all the contents. You can inherit all the contents. So let's go with an example. We can write like this: class D, visibility B1, visibility B2. In the sense, you are deriving a class, and in which way you want to inherit your base classes. So the same scenario we will discuss here. Here you have class A. Just now I said if you want to access the protected content, here I have used a protected variable A, and public, this is a function get A, and in this is class A. Next you have class B, it is also independent class. Here you have class C, public A, public B. So C is a derived class, and from C you can access the contents of A and B simultaneously. Okay, so here there are two base classes. From these two base classes, here you have only one derived class. You can access the contents from these two base classes. So here in this scenario we will create object only for C. So with the help of C object you can access the contents of A, access the contents of B, and in display function you are printing the values of A and B both. Okay, so this is about multiple inheritance. So we have seen simple inheritance, multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. So now here we have some ambiguity resolution in inheritance. What is that ambiguity? In the sense, for example, base class you have a function called display. The same time in derived class also we have the same function called display. Displays display. So in this scenario, which display function it has to execute? If both are having same function, then which function it has to execute? So obviously whatever the object we create in that function only it will be displayed. So here we can say that the derived class functions can override the base class function. So the first priority it will give you for the derived class object for which we are creating an object. So it will prefer that object functions, later on it will go for the remaining functions. So in this scenario, class A is having display function, class B it is also an independent class and it is also having a display function, and class C is inheriting AB. So if you want to execute that display function C dot display, then here we have an ambiguity that which display function it has to execute, it is of A or it is of B. So that is an ambiguity, that is a situation where system it won't work. So to overcome that problem, I am calling it is void view, and it is going to display function. So which display function it has to execute, this display or that display? So here reference to display is ambiguous. Which function it has to execute, it doesn't know. So the above issue can be resolved by using class resolution operator. In the sense, you have to inform which display function you want to execute. Display function belongs to A or display function belongs to B. That is like this. A scope resolution display. So what it will happen? It will execute the function of class A. Here in this scenario, it will execute the function of class B. So this is the way how to resolve that problem. When you have same function name in both the classes, then you have to suffix the class name before the function call. Then it can understand which display function it has to execute. So this is the ambiguity situation what we have to overcome in case of inheritance. Okay. So in this example, class A you have a display function here, class B also display function.
Sir, voice is breaking.
This display function, class B is also having display function here. So to execute that function in the above class, the function of the derived class overrides the method of the base class. Therefore, we have to call the display function. We will simply call the function defined in the derived class. So it is class A, it is class B. Now if you have called b dot display, so simply what it will do is it will display only this B class function, but it won't display class A function. Okay. Now what you have to do, b dot B scope resolution display. Now that function defined in B class, this is also, both will give you the contents what you have in B class, but not the functions what you have in A class. Okay. So I'll try to execute this program for you. This is another ambiguity. So here hash include IO stream, using namespace std, class B public A. So here you have class A, here you have class B. It is a derived class, so it is deriving, and it is display function of class A, and here you have display function of class B. Now let's try this. If I call b dot display, which function it has to execute? So we will see that. M over dot CPP, method overriding. So this concept is called as method overriding, where we have to define the base class method even in the derived class with the same structure, along with everything, function structure, everything should be same. Then that is called overriding. In overloading, we'll have only function name will be same, we'll have different parameters, but in overriding, functions and everything will be same. Oh, okay. I have to remove all this. execute, compile and run. Here you are calling b.display. So here you have two display functions, one is in base class, another one is in derived class. So we have to see which function it will execute, whether it will display class A or class B. So I have created an object for class B, so it will give you the result of class B. Think so. We'll see which function it will return. So as per the output, we can see class to do here is the changes. What we have to do here is, here already you are calling b.display function. So in this, if I call a scope resolution display, so what will happen? Okay, so when you are calling this display function, it will go here and first it will call class A display function, that will get executed, and then we'll have this class B. Now we'll see the example output. The previous situation is called as ambiguity. Okay, when you have same function in base class and derived classes, if you have called that function with the help of that object, then which function will execute? Obviously your derived class function will get executed. Now to overcome that problem, you have to write the class name and the scope resolution operator before the function call, then it will call the superclass function. So here you have class A and class B, both which we have received. Okay, so this is about this concept. This is called ambiguity. Now we have one more, C++, hybrid inheritance. So hybrid inheritance, in the sense it is a combination of previous inheritances. So here you have class A, B, C and class D. So this is one base class and two derived classes, and here two base classes and one derived classes. So it is a combination of any two inheritances is considered as hybrid inheritance. Here what will happen? Class A will have some contents. Those contents are there in class B as well as in class C. Okay, so A contents are there in B and C. Now D is a class which is getting the properties from B and C. So here also we have one ambiguity. What is that? D is getting the properties of A through B and through C. So there is a duplication of the properties of class A in B and in C. So we are going to lose some specious memory. So to overcome this problem, we have to use virtual function or virtual class. So when we are deriving the base class as virtual base class, then we will get only one copy of the contents either through B or either through C. Okay, but here we don't have any duplication of these objects of the contents what we have in class A. So here class A contents are derived by B and C. Now D is accessing the contents from B and C. So indirectly the contents of A are there in B and C both. So it is getting from both the ends. So the duplication of the contents of A will be there in D. So to overcome that duplication, it will allow only one path. So for that purpose, you have to make your base class as virtual base class. So in this is a simple example what he has explained. Class D, public B and public C. So as per the diagram, I have written the program. Okay, so this is considered as a simple example, and we have a hierarchical inheritance. So one base class and multiple derived classes is called as hierarchical. So multiple is an opposite. Multiple in the sense will have multiple base classes and one derived class. So in this scenario, only one base class and multiple derived classes. So that is considered as hierarchical inheritance. So if you remember the diagrams, then you can write the program easily for all these inheritances. So when first inheritance is simple inheritance, one base class and one derived class. Second is multi-level ABC. Third one is multiple inheritance, where we have multiple base classes and one derived class. And fourth one is hierarchical, one base class and multiple derived classes. The last one is hybrid. It can be any combination of previous inheritances. So these are the different types of inheritances what we have in C++. So if you remember the diagrams, then you can write the program easily. So in which way you want to access it, in which way you can derive the classes, everything is easy when you have that proper diagrams with you. Okay, so that's all for today's class. And in this session we have completed redefining base class functions. Till here we have completed class hierarchies, which we have discussed already done. And in tomorrow's class we will see this concept, virtual functions and multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is already completed. So tomorrow we have to see constructors and destructors in inheritance, as well as we will see that polymorphism and abstract base classes. So these are the topics. Once we discuss these topics, then your unit 3 will be completed, and this is a small topic which we have left in C++ streams. So I will discuss it at the end of the session. Okay, so once we complete all the topics, then we will discuss the C++ streams. Once we complete this, then we will go with fourth unit, exception handling. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Thank you.